Hello and welcome to another video. In this one we're going to be unboxing and checking out the new Oculus Quest 2. Okay, so a warm welcome to the channel if you're new, and hello again if you've been a subscriber or a few of my other videos before. Apologies for the semi kind of gangster setup here, in the process of kind of redecorating the cave, but I didn't want to put off this video any longer. I got this on release day of the 13th, but only up until now have I had time to even peel back the cellophane and check this out. So in this video what I aim to do is quick unboxing, show you what's inside. I'm going to do some opinions and some comparisons compared to the original Quest, which I've had since release, and talk about basically, in my opinion, whether it's worth upgrading, and talking about how the setup works and everything. So let's just get on with it. So this is the Oculus Quest 2. I have the 64 gigabit version, or gigabyte version I should say, the same as I have on the original Oculus Quest. You can get a 256 gigabyte version, but unless you plan to install every single game that Oculus has available and keep it installed all the time, you don't need to spend the extra money. So just in my opinion, stick with the 64 gigabyte. You do need, my words aren't working. You do need a Facebook account for the Oculus Quest 2. So keep that in mind. You need a good Facebook account in good standing. So set something up and what have you. So let's just unbox things, see what's inside. We'll just move the boxes out of the way as we go. So that's it. Nice, kind of good quality. Feels like recycled cardboard, which is fine. It opens up like this. So that's actually pretty nice. This is something you could store your Oculus Quest 2 in between usage. I'll put a link in the description. I've got another video where I reviewed a non-Oculus Quest case. It's great. You can keep your Quest in there along with the controllers and batteries and cables and stuff, so it works really well. But let's focus right now on what we have here. So we have the two controllers, just like this. So again, we will do some comparisons in a moment between these new ones and the original ones. We have the Quest 2 itself, which we'll come back to in a moment, and the Quest 2, it's kind of a bracket that just fits in there, that if you were a glasses wearer will just give you a little bit more room between the screens and everything. You can obviously get prescription eyeglass components for the Quest and the Quest 2. They are interchangeable, so if you already got those, you can move them over to the Quest 2. And if we look in this little box, we will find some Quest literature stuff in there. Let's have a quick look at what that's all about. So a reference guide and a safety and a warranty guide. So just put that to one side. And then in here, because we're in the UK, we have a 3-pin plug and a short USB-C lead for charging. So if you're interested in using this linked up to a PC to use Steam or Oculus games, in addition to just kind of the standalone stuff, I have another video on that as well where I recommend a couple of cables to give you, I think it's like 7 or 8 meters of tethered gameplay. It works really, really well. So we just pop this to one side and let's take a look at kind of what we have in terms of comparison between the Quest 2 and the Quest 1. So if we start off with the hand controllers, so these do have batteries pre-installed. They actually feel a little bit heavier on the Quest 2 than the original Quest, and they are, I think, slightly larger. So they do feel quite still comfortable in the hand. Obviously I'm used to these, but it feels good, and in some ways it's nice that you've got a slightly larger space. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how things match up with that. If we take a look at the Quest 2, I'll just remove a bit of cardboard that talks about lens adjustment and taking off the sticky protectors. We've got a few differences here. It definitely feels a bit lighter. We'll do a comparison in a moment, but we've got an elasticated strap here, which is different to the Quest. There is a pro strap, I think it is, for an extra £50 that I may consider getting in the future. It is white as opposed to black. Personally, don't think that's a great move because it's going to show up grubby marks a little bit better, but I'm sure they've had the same, a reason for doing that. You have the inside out tracking, which you have with the original Quest. You have volume control underneath, but no adjuster for IPD values. So basically the distance between your eyes. You can still adjust that. There are 3 different settings of IPD adjustment, and you basically have to manually move the lenses forwards and backwards to adjust your IPD value, just like this. There's 3 settings. So that's going to mean you can't get the same flexibility of IPD settings as you could on the original Quest, because the original Quest had full flexibility on your IPD values by this bottom piece here. So again, if we just take the 2 together, yeah, this one definitely feels a little bit lighter. The Quest 2 is lighter, but yeah, I would have preferred to have a black or a white option depending on kind of what you're interested in. So before we connect things up and set it up and see if that's something worth sharing with you, I'll talk about basically the improvements and why you may consider a Quest 2 over a Quest 1. And the short version is you definitely want a Quest 2 over a Quest 1. It's got higher resolution, it's got a faster processor, it's lighter, it's potentially more comfortable, and it costs £100 less than the Quest. So it is really a no-brainer to go for the Quest 2. But if you look at the specs, in terms of the original Quest, the screen resolutions were 1440 by 1600. This has now been increased on the Quest 2 to 1832 by 1980, so much better. In terms of refresh rate, both of them support 72 Hz, but the Quest 2 will support 90 Hz, so it has a better refresh rate, so that's really good. In terms of weight, the original Quest weighs 571 grams. The Quest 2 has shaved a little bit of that off. Again, slightly smaller frontal area and a lighter frame, so only 503 grams, so a little bit of weight saving there. In terms of the processor, the original Quest has the Snapdragon 835, whereas the Quest 2 has a Snapdragon XR2, so a better, faster processor. The original Quest has 4 GB of RAM, whereas the new Quest 2 has 6 GB of RAM, so you've got more memory there. In terms of storage space, as mentioned, both come with 64 GB. The Quest 1 had 64 or 128, whereas the Quest 2 has 64 or 256. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, personal opinion, don't waste your money. 64 GB will be absolutely fine. Depending on kind of what you feel about Facebook, one of the advantages of the original Quest is you don't need a Facebook account, just could use an Oculus account. They may or may not force a change with that. I think they probably will in the future, but you definitely have to have a Facebook account. You can only use the Quest 2 with a Facebook account. So that's really the main differences. As mentioned before, you can move over any prescription lens adjustments that you have for the Quest to the Quest 2. The IPD value is slightly harder to dial in on the Quest 2 because you only have 3 presets, whereas on the original Quest you can vary that whatsoever. So that's kind of how things are. I'm now gonna kind of get this set up myself, because again, literally just unboxed this for the first time, and then I'll come back and talk to you about what I think about the performance and if it was worth upgrading over the original Oculus Quest. Okay, so whilst we wait for my Quest to install a couple of games so I can try out something that I'm familiar with on the Quest 1 to see what the comparison's like, I thought to talk to you a little bit about the setup process if you've never had a Quest before. So basically, on the controllers, there's little pull tabs you'll pull out the bottom that will enable the batteries that are already installed to work. When you want to change the batteries over time, it's super easy. You just kind of pull down on the one side here and they open up. They're just held in magnetically. So that's an improved design actually over the original Quest. Once that's done and you put on the headset, you want to pair that with your Oculus account you've installed on your phone. Obviously I already have a Quest, so the pairing was really straightforward. Then you just connect it to your Wi-Fi network, which you can see in the headset. You basically put in a pairing code that you see in the headset into the app, and then you're kind of good to go. The headset had around 55% charge installed already, which is perfectly fine to download a couple of updates and kind of get things set up. Then you just do your room scale setting. You'll see in the video, because of the cave situation, I'm just using a very small area to set things up. But the initial things I've noticed is it definitely loads up faster from turn on, much faster than, or I should say at least notably faster than the original Quest. So it's going to get you into games quicker, or at least get in a position to play a game quicker. We'll see what the load time is like. In terms of that IPD values, so again, there's 3 positions, as I said. Position 1 is 58, position 2 63, and position 3 68. So if your IPDs are around there somewhere, it's going to be perfect for you. Mine's a little bit off. I think mine's about 65. So I've kind of got it in 63, option 2 at the moment, and it seems okay. Again, it's not going to be quite as good as with the Quest 1, unfortunately, but it didn't feel like it was going to impact anything in terms of the gameplay. So we'll see how that goes. Another thing that I noticed on there is the speaker slot is different. So on the Quest 1 we have speaker connectors for different left and right ears on either side, whereas on the Quest 2 it's just a single jack that you use to connect into earphones. I actually think that's better. It always seemed a bit stupid that you had individual ear slots on the Quest, so I'm glad that they've done away with that. The sound seems pretty good still, just out of the headset, but obviously will be improved if you plug in some headphones to increase your immersion. Another thing to mention, that I've seen quite a few videos where people are using their Quests outside. Oculus don't recommend that, and they mention that in the setup piece. I also don't recommend that. So the Quests are very similar to what I'm used to when flying my drones and quadcopters. If any sun kind of hits into these lenses, it will instantly be magnified, and you stand a really good chance of basically screwing up the screens in there. So please don't be tempted to use your Quests outside. Stick to using them inside in a decent well-lit area. When you set up your room boundaries, there is some intelligence in there. So if you're playing in different rooms, it will try and recognize the room that you're in if you stand in the same location when you start things up, and it will hopefully recognize your room area. That seems to work pretty consistently for me on the original Quest, so I'm sure that's going to be the same on the Quest 2. So I'm just going to wait for this game to install, then we'll check it out, and I'll come back with my final thoughts as to whether it was worth upgrading from the Quest 1 to the Quest 2. I will say, just before we move on, the only thing that sucks a little bit about current Quest owners is traditionally I would sell existing equipment to help the upgrade to newer, better things. And Oculus have done the amazing thing by reducing the cost of the Oculus Quest 2, which is a better performing unit than the Quest 1, and they've reduced that by £100, as I mentioned earlier. So that really means that, you know, you can't knock just £100 off the price that you paid for your Quest. You have to knock a couple of £100 off, and then I guess you're kind of into that territory. Is it really worth selling or not? So I'm going to keep hold of mine, but you know, Oculus did an amazing job at reducing the cost of it. And again, even without trying it, I'm pretty confident that for the price, this is the best VR headset you can get, especially with the fact that obviously it's standalone, and with either the official link cable, which I don't recommend, or buying your own cables, having the ability to connect it to a gaming PC if you want to have more gaming variety and use the power of the GPU on a PC to play slightly more enhanced VR games. I think, you know, you have to spend a lot more money to get something better than the Quest 2. So let's check if the games have installed, and we will try something out. Okay, so a quick go of pistol whip there, which I'm pretty sure has been enhanced a little bit to support better the improvements of the Quest 2. I think the load speed was slightly faster. I couldn't say for sure, but definitely the gameplay, I could notice an improvement in both the smoothness and the graphics quality. The reason I chose that game, aside from my understanding that it has been improved a little bit, when I bought Pistol Whip, I tried it both on my HTC Vive and the original Quest, and even though the quality was better on the HTC Vive, I decided this is a game that I wanted to be able to play without wires. And this now, from memory, seems pretty much the same quality as I have on my HTC Vive, which, you know, is amazing for something that costs a fraction of the price of the HTC Vive and a gaming PC, in something that is just so small and portable and basically enables you to do VR pretty much anywhere. So my conclusion is, I think the Oculus Quest 2 is a worthy upgrade to anyone that currently has a Quest headset. And if you don't have any access to VR right now, you're thinking about making the jump, and I know a few friends and subscribers are, then I definitely think the Oculus Quest 2 is worth investing in if you can get hold of one. I think you, your family and your friends are not going to be disappointed. If you want to be able to cast to just your phone, you can do that, but I also recommend checking out a Chromecast. Then you can project onto a TV, or I said cast, I should say, onto a TV or a projector. Then other people can share the fun of what you're experiencing in VR and help like with escape room games and other kinds of things. So hope this helped. Please leave a comment below if you have a Quest and decided that you were or not going to upgrade to a Quest 2, and also if you've got a Quest 2, kind of what you think and what you feel about it. Thanks for watching this video. A thumbs up would be really appreciated. If you're interested in other geek type videos, please consider subscribing to Spectrum Geeks. Why not also follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And before you leave, why don't you check out one of these other videos that may be of interest. Thanks again for watching.